I think the best revenge is to get to a place where you no longer care about revenge, but at the same time, it was very bittersweet.
Yeah. I've got a bunch of questions for you. As you're going through your story, I was just like my brain's kind of like running a million miles an hour trying to think about putting myself in your shoes because I experienced something similar. Mine wasn't with the buddy. It wasn't a buddy of mine, thank God. I that would bring things to a whole different level. I feel like. But can you describe for me like what you were feeling? Because we've even talked about in this show what that feels like. It's like getting hit by a Mack truck or hit by a train. The moment you found out that you find those things out and reality sets in. And I even made the connection or the analogy that it's almost like if you've ever watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, just before you start answering the questions, all the lights go down low. There's this dramatic music. Things get real serious, and it's just you're kind of like beside yourself a little bit. That's kind of what it feels like, and it feels like that Mack truck or that train hits you. Can you describe like what it felt for you in that moment when shit hit the fan?
I would assume it's the same experience for most guys if they've ever been in this situation where they get that message from someone like saying, hey, here's some screenshots. Don't know if you're aware of this. Or, I don't believe in going through people's phones. A lot of people have hashed out at me on the social platforms when I made videos on that. I even say in my ex-wife's phone, I never went through her phone, and I still don't regret that I never have, regardless of the fact that she was cheating, because you don't need hardcore proof of what your gut and intuition are telling you. So it's like I knew deep down something was up. But I feel like when you say, let me see your phone, let me see your messages, or you sneak around and you go look, you become the bad guy, even if you do find something. So when you do get that proof, though, somehow, if it happens in this way where you didn't go digging or snooping, I feel like it's almost like you feel that knife, you feel that stab, and then it's just getting turned. You almost like you get that shortness of breath, you get your heart just beating rapidly, you start shaking, your hands start shaking, and you're like, oh boy, like you pretty much have a minor panic attack. And it doesn't matter at what stage it is, So for me, it was actually after the month break. In my mind, I was already kind of like, okay, this is going to end. We're not going to get back together. Still finding that out at the end was definitely, it was messed up. I couldn't believe how much it was still affecting me too, even though in my mind, I had already made peace with the fact that we are going to go our separate ways. But then seeing her, and I remember when we, agreed to just pretty much say, all right, let's go our separate ways. Because I wasn't going to sit there. It's one of the things I learned: never beg a woman to stay or anyone to stay in your life if you can't negotiate genuine desire. So you just make yourself look bad. You push her further away by trying to do that. But I remember at the end asking, I'm like, listen, now that we're at this place, can we be honest with each other? I really feel like it was you met somebody else. There is someone else. You've been talking to someone else. Can you at least admit that? We'll still do the agreement we had, whatever. She still said, no, I'm just going to work. I'm working on myself or whatever. I'm going to go and find myself. And I have some videos on that. Triggers a lot of people because you get the girls popping in like, no, we need to go find ourselves. And the guys are like, yeah, this happened to me. This happened to me. This happened to me. So
I know what you're going to find. Yeah.
Yeah. Seems to be an accountability issue there sometimes. And then there were a few girls that did admit it. They're like, oh, hell yeah, we use this as an excuse to go cheat or test the waters elsewhere and come back to you if it doesn't
Those
work.
are the real ones. Yep. And those are the ones that are going to be able to like figure it out and get, maybe like just like heal from those things and like the ones that acknowledge are the ones that are going to be able to move on from it. The ones that don't, they might be stuck there forever. And I feel like the accountability thing is really important too. And we talked a little bit before the show. Maybe we could talk some more about that eventually here. But yeah, those are the ones that are going to probably have some self-reflection and maybe turn this into a little bit more of a positive because like humans make mistakes. We understand that. But like you got to own up to it,
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only way to learn. It's really to take accountability for your actions. So me, I even towards the end of the marriage, I feel like I started losing myself. I wasn't the same way I was towards the beginning. And I take responsibility and ownership. And I've learned from every mistake I made towards the end. And one of those biggest lessons, like I said earlier, was they don't care about your track record. So in your mind, all right, 7 years, been great for 7 years. Okay, maybe I dropped the ball over here. I've, as the breadwinner supporting the house and all that stuff, there was resentment starting to build, but you don't realize that if you don't discuss it, it just builds further and further. It creates that brick wall between the two of you. So I'm sitting there like, oh, she doesn't help. I'm paying for everything, this and that. I feel unappreciated. On her end, maybe she's feeling like she wasn't getting the romantic side. And before you know it, you're just, you're living under the same house and it's just awkward as hell.